Bonjour, hi friends, it's Alex. Welcome back to the channel. This week we're making a lentil soup. Before you start, this isn't your grandmother's recipe. This is a completely different recipe. This is something that you'll actually enjoy because it is very comforting. So it's something that you can eat in the fall, especially now that it's getting cooler. But it'll make you feel like you're traveling because it's inspired by the flavors that you can find in Morocco. Yes, it's Moroccan inspired. So it's a Moroccan inspired lentil soup. It's delicious. There's curry powder in it. There's some ginger. There's some paprika. It's all over the place, but it's amazing. So you'll eat it at home, but you feel like you're traveling. So it's the best of both worlds. So it's something that I usually keep in a freezer, but unfortunately, but fortunately for you, we are out, completely out. We finished the last container of lentil soup a few days ago, so now I have to make a new batch. So to make sure that this doesn't happen, especially now that we're going into fall, I've decided to do a double batch. So you can already find the recipe on the blog. It's already out, but for today, I'm doubling everything. So the recipe you find on the blog, follow that if you want to make just a single batch. But if you want to follow along and do a double batch and stock your freezer for weeks, then just double it. That's what we're going to do. So let's get started. So I'm actually really lucky because my partner, to help me today, decided to do all my mise en place. So on the recipe, you'll see you need potatoes, carrots, celery, onion, and garlic to start. So I have already this all done, so I don't have to do it. I feel very bougie. So we're just gonna start warming up some olive oil in the pot, then throw in our onions to just sweat them down a little bit, then add the carrots, celery, and potatoes. And after a few minutes, I like to add my garlic. Then I'll add the spices, the tomato paste to caramelize the tomato paste a little bit. Then add the lentils, both reds and green. It's a mix of lentils. And then it's just all the liquid, and then you just simmer that down for like 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the thickness that you want. If you want something a little bit thicker, I would say simmer it a little bit longer. If you want something a little bit soupy, then I would say just simmer it for like 30 minutes just to make sure that all the flavors develop nicely, but to not thicken it too much because the lentils will absorb some of the liquid, the potatoes as well, the carrots, all the vegetables are going to absorb. So that's how it works. If you want a bit more liquid, less cooking time, less liquid, more cooking time. So let's get started with cooking down our onions. And welcome back to this side of the kitchen. So we're just gonna start preheating our pots. Yes, I'm doing 2 pots. Don't judge me, it's just easier for me. So I'm just gonna start warming up a little bit of olive oil in both of these lovely Dutch ovens. I like to go medium heat to start preheating them. Just give them a few minutes to preheat, and that way it won't stick as much or it won't burn. That's more the way it is. Because if you go too hot, it's not very good for your Dutch ovens. It can actually damage them if you go really hot too soon. So you need to slowly preheat them. So because the base is cast iron. So cast iron takes a little bit of time to warm up. So once you do that, then they're hot and ready to go. Because if you just crank up the heat, then you actually will damage the enamel and then your Dutch ovens are screwed. So if you buy fancy Dutch ovens like these, even though we got them on sale, if you buy fancy Dutch ovens, if you get Le Creuset or Staub or whichever brands you buy, if you damage the enamel, they're done. And we've had this issue in the past with a smaller one, and it was not really fun to deal with. So be careful with your Dutch ovens. They last a long time, but they're a little bit sensitive. So I'm actually going to add a tiny bit more oil. You can be generous with your olive oil. I can't even tell you how many times this lentil soup recipe has saved our lives. It is so easy to make it. It is a little bit of time. Cooking takes a little bit of time. I'll admit it. But it is so convenient when you have it in your freezer so that even the night before you can pull it out if you don't know what you feel like eating or you're just like, I really don't care. You pull it out and I assure you, it'll save your life. You will go to work, you'll go to the gym, you'll go pick up the kids, you'll go do whatever you need to do, you'll come home and you'll be like, oh, thank God I thought about this lentil soup. And the beautiful thing with this lentil soup is you can throw whatever you want in it. So sometimes I'll add lamb meatballs that I keep in the freezer. So sometimes I won't even thaw the meatballs. I'll just throw the meatballs in the lentil soup while it's warming up. And by the time the soup is ready, the meatballs are also ready. So it's amazing. You can also throw sausages in it. Sometimes I'll just take the sausages out of the casing and just like turn it into like kind of ground meat and then just throw it in the lentil soup. It's very customizable, so you can do whatever you want with it. So I can't beg you enough to do it. Not only for me, I'm begging you for you. You'll thank me later, I assure you. And after this little speech, our oil is ready, our cast irons are ready. We're just gonna start sweating our onions a little bit. We'll do half and half. We'll just cook them for 2 minutes. And if you're doing 2 pots like I am, don't worry, you don't need to like precisely measure if it's half and half because they'll cook down anyway and then we'll combine everything together before putting it in the containers. So they'll be the same. Everything is going to be mixed up, so you don't have to worry about it. It's not that fancy. You don't have to be bougie with it. Oh, timer. Talking about efficiency, it is time for another set of stretch and folds for my sourdough. So we're just gonna do this at the same time. So I feel like I am kind of late to the game, but I've been obsessed with making sourdough at home. I've been focused on trying to figure it out, and I want to make a video about it because I think I'm starting to really understand it. Some people make it seem like it's so hard. Some people make it seem like it's so easy. And I feel like it's kind of a mix of both. Once you start understanding the process, then it's a lot easier. And with this being done, we can now throw the rest of our vegetables in. So we're gonna add our potatoes, celery, and carrots. Oh, and garlic. At this stage, you can add a little bit more oil if you need it. If you're starting to see some color, feel free to add a little bit of oil because we don't want anything to stick. So we'll just cook this for 3-4 minutes just to cook it a little bit. And then we'll start adding our spices, tomato paste, lentils, and all the rest to make this amazing soup. While our vegetables are cooking down, we're just gonna mix our spices in here. So like I said, I'm doing a double batch. So we're just gonna double all of the spices. I'm just gonna put them in one little container like this, and then I'll just split it. So we start with salt, and just for the convenience, because it's already ground, I'm gonna do white pepper. If you have black pepper, you can totally use it. I'm being lazy right now and I just don't feel like grounding it. And then you'll need turmeric. You'll need ground cumin. You'll need ground cumin. Ooh, paprika. Some cinnamon. And curry powder. We need ginger. So we have ground ginger or minced ginger here. My trick, which is a video I will upload very soon. My trick for fresh ginger to always have it ready is to buy a lot of ginger at the grocery store. Buy the organic one. It actually makes a difference. It tastes a lot more flavorful, so you use less. But you buy a lot and then you can just put it in the food processor, and then I put it in an ice cube tray and I have cubes of ginger always ready to go. So at this point, we're roughly 3-4 minutes after putting our vegetables in the pot, so it's good. I'm starting to see a little bit of color. It smells really nice, really fragrant. We're gonna start adding our spices and the tomato paste to caramelize the tomato paste a little bit. So what's your thought? So this is the mix of spices. Like I said, I'm doing a double batch, so it seemed like a lot of spices, but keep in mind that it's double the batch. And we want lots of flavor. So I'm just gonna start dividing it. And then we have our ginger and tomato paste. And the reason why I like to add the tomato paste at this point, it's that way the tomato paste cooks, but also it caramelizes and it gives a nice depth to the soup. Because initially I was just adding it to dissolve it with the stock, but I feel like we could do better than that. So we decided to, I decided to add it at this step, so that way it cooks the spices down, it caramelizes the tomato paste, and you get really nice flavor that way. So just mix it in and cook it for a minute or two, and then we'll be able to add the lentils, cook that down a little bit. Well, we're just gonna toast them a little bit, and then we're gonna add all the liquid, and then we're just gonna simmer the soup for probably a good 40 minutes here. Since I'm putting it in the freezer, I don't want to cook it down too much, but it's up to you. It's really like to your preference. If you like I said, a thicker soup, I would say you could easily go to an hour, but I think 40-45 minutes is pretty good. It smells so good. This is very nice. Now we're gonna add, it's gonna be 2 cups of red lentils, these ones, and 2 cups of green, so we'll do 1 cup in each pot. We'll go this way. And we're just gonna toast them for a minute just to start the cooking process, give them a head start. And if your spices and your tomato paste did stick a little bit to the bottom of the pot, don't worry about it. We're gonna add so much liquid now that you'll be able to deglaze the pan. So in this case, I have a little bit of color to the bottom, or a little bit of spices stuck to the bottom. So I'll be able to just use some of the stock that I have and get it deglaze so it doesn't burn. And my recommendation for this soup, you can use homemade stock if that's what you prefer. It's delicious if you do. I'm just using regular bouillon because I don't have that much stock left in the freezer. And I feel like for this type of soup, it doesn't make a huge difference because you're not going to taste the stock that much because there's so much flavors in it. It's still going to be delicious if you use homemade stock. If you want to go through the process of doing it, highly recommend. But I think bouillon is just as good because there's, like I said, there's so much to it that it won't make a huge difference. Right now, I'm just going to show you a closer look at what it looks like so you don't feel nervous if you get to this point. It's totally normal. So you'll see it. I'll show you how I'm going to deglaze the pan with some stock and just start simmering away. So as you can see, there's a little bit of, it looks burnt, but it's actually just spices that colored. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that same cup that we used for the lentils, and I'm just going to add in a little bit of stock to start deglazing the pan. And now anything that is stock in the bottom will be easily removed. You can just scrape it off without using metal tools because we don't like metal tools for our Dutch ovens. But super easy. You don't have to worry about it. It's not, your Dutch ovens aren't ruined. They're totally fine. You just need to deglaze the pan a little bit. And now we can just add the rest of our stock. So give this a good mix and then bring this to a boil. And then we're just gonna simmer it covered for roughly half an hour, 40 minutes. And then we'll be able to finish it off with coconut milk, a little bit of lemon juice, and yeah, it's gonna be absolutely fabulous. So right now our soup is just simmering away and we're just gonna let it simmer for another half an hour, slightly uncovered, just to let out that steam a little bit. And I'll show you the final result once everything is done and ready to serve. So our pots of lentil soups are done. So now we're just gonna add the finishing touches. So the coconut milk and the lemon juice, and then they're gonna be done. And we're gonna be able to enjoy a delicious and warm bowl of lentil soup. So let's do this. So I have combined our 2 pots of lentil soup into just one. So it's gonna be easier to add the coconut milk and the lemon juice in it. But as you can see, it's absolutely incredible. It looks amazing. So let's finish this off.